Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Power Spiritology on the Spiritology Television Network. I think I'm going to talk a little bit about today warring spirits. Yeah, spirits that are at war with one another, doing battle with each other. It seems in this day and age that the world is filled to capacity with warring spirits. And I guess that's really not news because um, if you look at history, read history books, war has been man's nature since the beginning of probably perhaps since he taught himself the right. Who knows? Like you see news about the conflict in the Middle East. Even here in America, you got all these disturbed teenagers and young adult men going around shooting up public places. Probably like a couple of days ago, I saw this clip uh, with Ben Carson being interviewed by Congress or the Senate or whoever it was, and they were asking him all these questions about separating children from their families, and I gotta admit, the guy looked pretty depleted and defeated, and he was given these evasive, smart alecky answers. Almost reminds me of what Jeff Sessions did before he bit the dust, and I thought to myself, well, he looks defeated. He's not going to be there very long. Donald Trump is probably looking for an excuse to dump on him anyway. Speaking of the tweet master, Donald Trump, I mean, he's almost daily sending tweets of bigotry or bitterness, hatred. Clearly, he's at war with even the very own people that voted for him. War and spirits are everywhere, but let's get a little bit closer to home and look inside our very own heads, our very own minds. Like if you let's take road rage for instance, and I'm sure you've seen instances of road rage, and people just snap and go ballistic. Well, those are warring spirits. That's a person that's at war against himself, and this is because his mind, his very own mind, or her mind. And hopefully you, whoever you are watching the video, you don't suffer from anything like that. But these people, they're being attacked by their very own minds. Their minds are at war with their spirits. And one of the main reasons for that is because they have their ideas of how life should be, of how reality should play out, of how other people should behave in relation to them. And oftentimes it's being polite and nice to them or catering to them. And everybody has the same idea for themselves, but nobody's looking to accommodate the other person's idea of how they should behave toward that person. And so these people, what their ideas about reality and how it should go can be completely opposite, clash with how it actually does go. So they believe in the wrong thing. They have these faulty and phony expectations that clash with real realities. So they're at war with themselves inside their very own heads. Their minds are neurotic. Their thoughts are clashing. They're being tortured and tormented by their very own minds. War in spirits. People at war with themselves, folks. They really are at war with themselves. You see people acting out against other people, and that's because they're compelled to do that. They're playing out a program in their head, a program of an inner war that's going on in their head. It's causing them to act out. Others, they may not act out as violently as some people do, but they shut down some kind of way. They shut down, or they adopt a vice of self-destruction. They do something to act out in some way. Everybody acts out in some way, and this is because they are at war with themselves. And it's kind of sad, but I don't think many people realize they can feel the torment that they're going through. They can feel the psychological pressures, the emotional anguish. They can feel it, but they don't necessarily equate it to that their minds are attacking them. Their minds are filled with little hundreds, maybe thousands of little imps in the form of ideas and whatnot that don't match up to reality. And it creates an atmosphere of confusion, a mental atmosphere of confusion, conflict. And where there's conflict, there's war. Most people are at war with themselves. They have this inner conflict, and they have internalized memories of reality versus internalized ideas of personal realities that are constantly clashing, battling, and they don't know what to do about it. They don't know what to do about it. So they continue on. They continue on being tortured and tormented until they act out in self destruction. Take a look around you. Say, for instance, like you're driving down the street and somebody cuts you off, flips you the finger. Catch yourself. Don't react. Understand that you just encountered a warring spirit, a traumatized person, like this dog in the background. He could be a warring spirit, or he could just see the neighbor's cat that tends to walk across the yard in front of the gate. Who knows? Anyway, do yourself a favor, though. Do yourself a favor. Do a mental gut check. See how you expect something to happen versus the way it really does happen. I mean, for instance, you're driving down a road and you're trying to beat the light, but you can't. You have to stop. You get a little moment of frustration. Your expectation or your desire did not match up with the reality, so you kind of went to battle with yourself. Do you have a war in spirit? If you do, one of the best things to do to alleviate that is to pay attention to the battle. Just watch the battle as it rages. Just see your frustration and just catch it and watch it. It'll subside and it'll do you a world of good. It'll start to reverse the neurosis and it will, how does it say in the Bible or in religion, they'll tell you the battleground is in the mind. But you have to see the battle first before you can win the war. You have to really be conscious of the battle. So before you get swept away by the battle, or even if you do get swept away, consciously understand where you're at. See your mind and what it's doing to you. If your mind is tormenting you, just ask God to put an end to it. Stop the battle. Catch yourself in the middle of the battle, the frustration or whatever you're dealing with, the anger. Stop it. Become conscious of it. And just say to the Lord, I don't want to be my own tormentor. I don't want to torment myself anymore. And then go on about your business. Do this as many times as possible. I mean, it is what it is. It is an inner battle. All the outer circumstances, these people doing all the heinous things and whatnot, it's all a result of the inward war that's going on in their individualized heads. But you don't have to be a part of it. You can be in this world, but not of it. And a way to do that is to end the battle inside your own head. Understand that your spirit and your mental self is at war with one another. Understand it. And remember, your spirit has more power than you think. Your spirit is more powerful than your mind. The spirit is in control of the mind. The spirit is what creates the mind anyway. But people have given themselves over to their minds, and now their minds are out of control. You were meant to be in control of your mind, not the other way around. It's like the tail wagging the dog. But again, let me reiterate, anytime you're at war with yourself inwardly, catch yourself. Stop the war. Let the frustration subside. And when it subsides, just ask God to end the war for you. And another good practice is to not react to outer circumstances. Just watch these people in action. Just watch them, just quietly be an observer and watch these people. And your eyes will begin to open, your spiritual eyes. You'll see individual wars. You won't see physically, you might see two people arguing with each other. But if you stop to observe these people and you do it correctly, you'll see two people physically fussing at one another. However, you will see individuals, one over here, warring with themselves. And that's good for you too. That'll also help you in the battle within your very own mind. You can do it. It'll be a little tough at first because sometimes we forget. Well, I say sometimes, but oftentimes we forget. We're so caught up in our own inner melodramas. We get caught up in our own heads. Our thought lives have taken over our realities in a bad way. So we're so caught up in the spinning sensation of our thought lives that we forget about real reality. But you can do it. You can catch yourself at war with yourself and you can end the battle. Anyway, thank you for your time. Have a good day.